Beautiful conversation between me and my son today, Malachi Chaney. Of course, with Malachi's injury, with the whole entire situation of surviving a tornado and being in a hospital for 10 days, most of those days spent in ICU, Malachi's angry. You know, he is stable. He's able to feel every ounce of pain. So, you know, from time to time, he snaps at the doctors, you know, because if they come in to, you know, change his IV, or if they come in to give him medicine, if they touch him a certain way, he can feel it. He's in pain. So he's like, get away from me. Don't touch me. And just snapping, you know, going crazy, which is understandable. The anger, the confusion, the situation between Malachi, myself, my wife Aisha, is understandable. But today, a beautiful father and son moment between me and him. He had to use the bathroom. He went. He could get up, walk to the bathroom, use it. When it was time to wash his hands, it's a mirror in front of the sink. And when he looked at his face, he looked at the scars, the bruises, the swelling going down his eye, and every injury that you could think of. You could tell he was feeling it. So as tears started to well up a little bit, I looked at my son and I said, Malachi, calm energy. And that was a word that me and him came up with the second day that we were at the hospital, where it was worse than you can imagine. And I said, calm energy, stay calm, give yourself grace, give your body patience. And as he was looking in the mirror, his head started to go down. And I said, Malachi, look at me, eye to eye, look at your father. And he looked up, he looked at me. I said, what's wrong? He said, everything, Dad. Everything is wrong. I'm ready to get out of here. I said, that's understandable. I said, but again, give your body patience. Give your body grace. I said, Malachi, you've done what most superheroes that you look up to in these movies, you've done what they have not done. You survived the tornado and you still living and breathing to be able to feel every part of the pain. You still living and breathing to be able to do that. So you got to be thankful and grateful for that. As crazy as it may sound, you've been in ICU in a hospital for the last 10 days and you're healing faster than some of these doctors have ever seen a patient heal. I said, me as your father, I'm angry too. I said, but you know what we angry at? He said, what, Dad? I said, we're angry at the fact that we can't blame nobody. I said, we can't blame nobody for trying to harm us. I said, we can't blame nobody for trying to stab us or shoot us, or accidentally hitting our car and we got into a bad accident. We can't blame nobody. This was an act of nature. It was a natural disaster that just happened to hit our home, wipe it all away, take all of our belongings. And now, you know, it was a life-changing, traumatic, devastating situation. I said, but the fact, again, that we still, me and you, father and son, we still living and breathing to be able to speak about this and this be a testimony. I said, that should ease your mind a little bit when it comes to us having calm energy and not snapping on everybody and everything that comes in front of us. I said, Malachi, you a young God. You a king. You a legend. You a GOAT. I said, you an American hero out here. You got millions of people around the world saying your name, Malachi Chaney. They praying for you. So again, be thankful and grateful for that. He looked me in my eye. Them tears went away. He looked himself back in that. He looked at himself in that mirror. He looked at them war wounds, and he looked at me. He said, Dad, I love you. Hold my hand. Give me a hug. I pray with my son and my wife every single day, all day, throughout the day. I kissed my son on his cheek. We hugged. I said, you ready to eat? We walked back to his bed. He sat in his bed. He could eat on his own. I said, you got this. You got this. And brothers, I wanted to share that, man, because our brothers, we got to talk to our sons. We got to talk to our young men more. You know, it's a lot of our young men that have anger issues for whatever reason. Of course, we can understand Malachi's anger. You know, I mean, being thrown 300 feet, hitting your head, and broken ribs and every bone in your face is fractured. Yeah, we can understand it. But at the same time, you know, that word we created, calm energy, knowing that we're going to get out of this and that we survived it, those type of conversations got to be had with our young men to let them know it's okay to not be okay, but eventually we're all going to be okay. Peace and blessings. Trey Chaney. Love y'all.